Hello, welcome to Clear Minds and Self Healing. My name is Asa, and today I want to talk about life's battles. How do we approach those battles? Do we even recognize them as battles? How do you fight for the things that are valuable to you? How do you prepare for that action? How do you smile through grief? How do you find your voice in that oppressive or abusive relationship? And how do you fight to get up and take another step when you're broken by whatever it is that you're dealing with? Now, join me today on Battlefield One on One to have those conversations. But before we do that, I want to thank my returning subscribers. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification button so that we can have these conversations every Saturday morning when I upload a video. Now, let's delve into our topic of today, battlefields. And by that, I mean those big, gigantic, overwhelming challenges that keep knocking us down one day at a time. Some of them we bring year after year with us. So, battlefield starts with planning. You plan for war. Because if you think about it, if I jog as a hobby every morning doing 5 miles, I'll go out the door with a different feel to go jogging for my hobby than I'll go out the door running if that run was a war action. So I think that sometimes we take decisions that are meant to go with our hobbies and we take those to war fronts. And those don't level up to slay the demons that we find at our war fronts. So starting with the preparation. If you prepare well for war, you have a higher chance of winning. And by preparation, I mean the reflection on what is going on so that you can actually create that awareness and clarity around the issues that you're dealing with. Those internal demons, those external demons, you can only really have a person targeted plan if you prepare well for that war. Get some more knowledge around those things: mental health, domestic abuse, relationships, whatever it is that you're dealing with. Just dieting and eating healthier. How well do you plan for your war? How well do you educate yourself? Get the right tools, get yourself into the right frame of mind, and set off with the right momentum as you get out that door on that run, knowing that it's a war action and not a maybe or sometimes action that you take. So that's your preparation phase. You have to start the preparation by first of all telling yourself, what outcome do I want from this war? Once you figure out the issue that you're going to war for, what is the outcome that you want? Make it clear to yourself your desired outcome. And then ask yourself the second question: what is the cost of war as opposed to the cost of what I'm going to lose or willing to give for that war? Do I have it in me? Am I committed to give that time and body and finances to that thing? Because otherwise you're wasting your time going to war with half-hearted tools and effort and personality. And so once you figured out that planning side of it, declare war on that enemy. Declare war on it. Whether it's the abusive relationship that you're sitting in it, your planning is telling yourself that my jaws have been broken too many times. And now I am lighting that fire from underneath me to do something about this gradually. You're planning around that situation. You're planning around the anger that is impacting on your family, your children. You snap at them when they do things that are not conforming to the house rules, but they're still children. So how do you manage those internal demons so that they don't bite you and the family and all the treasures that you already have at home? Because I think sometimes we go to war and we charm those ladies out of their brains. You set out to have a wife. You travel 300 miles to impress them, surprise them, to gain their trust and make promises, and then you bring home those trophies and then you pile them up with dust. And before you know it, you're out for more wars, fighting other things. And this time, what is the cost of the new war you're waging? What are you losing at home by ruining those relationships that you've built and breaking those promises to go and wage new wars? So I want you to be really clear. Every time you declare war on external enemies, ask yourself what is happening to the internal demons. Because for some of us, it's really, really hard to identify that we have them in us, that the war is actually with ourselves, that you have to slay those demons and still keep yourself whole. Kill the evil without killing you. How difficult are those decisions? How aware are we that we even need to be taking those decisions from within as much as from without? Because if you prepare for external war while feeling conflicted, while feeling lost, while feeling broken, or underestimating the strength of the enemy that you're going out to fight, you make those resolutions about how you will stop the addiction. And did you stop to investigate its impact on you, its strength over you? And did you give it the same fight momentum as you give the thing that you know has tooth and nail? Because when you underestimate the enemy, you make half-hearted decisions that end up failing and then breaking your ego and your resolution even more. So fight wars, but decide that they are meaningful wars. Be clear that the cost of war is not breaking everything that you already won and came home with in previous wars. And most importantly, recognize when you need to retreat at the war front. Because sometimes you're not healthy enough for those wars. You're not intelligent enough for those wars, and you need to go and do your investigation and your education and sharpen your tools. You need to recruit the right army of people, of armies, of soldiers that will stand with you at that battlefront. So don't see retreating as a failure. Sometimes retreating is the intuition of a clever captain. Preserve your army, preserve yourself, recalculate your strategies, and get back on that war front with less casualties. Because we fight to death to get families. You have children, you can even die in those delivery rooms, and then you come home and you let your internal demons and struggles destroy the mood that you set at home, destroy the focus that you have on those families. And then you start yelling, you start neglecting, and in some extreme cases, you even disown them. Those trophies that you once fought so hard for, that you once believed so firmly in, are now sitting in cupboards collecting dust while you reach out for higher trophies. Why is that? And at that point, I ask you, what is the cost of war? What value do you put to those things that you're fighting for? If weeks or months or years later, they're just going to go underneath the cupboards. And if you then reflect on that, you understand that you're fighting to feel a need that is inside as opposed to those things that you're reaching for. And that's when you have to stop and deal with the internal demons. And for a whole other lot of us, we do not know how to recover after battle. We fight, we retreat, but also you have to find the time to heal those battle wounds. Don't go year after year and month after month and problem after problem and just keep bashing yourself over the walls without stopping to heal, stopping to appreciate this person, stopping to invest knowledge, emotion, and love into yourself. Pamper and heal those wounds before you get up and get on the next battles. Because that's where we go wrong sometimes. Getting right back, getting fueled by anger as opposed to reason and caution. Those are failing wars. When you're not healed, when you're not seeing you, when you're not clear on the goal, when you're not clear on the cost of war, on you, on your family, on your health, and on society. So we fight for things that we destroy at the end of war. Destroy because we are too angry, destroy because we are too insecure, and destroy because we haven't given ourselves the time to heal. So let's start the wars internally. Let's learn how to address our own internal conflicts emotionally, the mental health issues, the identity issues. Because the reality is sometimes the end of war scares us, but it also marks the start of peace. And so pick your battles cleverly and let a whole lot of them go. Win some of those wars with diplomacy, with decisions that you make out of war fronts. And then pick the battles that you need to go to war for and make sure that you attack those battles with war-worthy action and momentum. Because if you take little girl pants into big girl walls, you will fail miserably, and then you will come back struggling with those identity crises that you've inherited from all the failed attempts at battles that you should never have been into. So here is my conclusion for you. When it comes to life's battlefields, some of us, we need to step out of battle because we are fighting wars that are inherently wrong. Get out of those broken situations, that mindset, that pain in your heart, that abusive relationship, that stagnation of the situation where you're too good to the employment. Get out of those battlefields, retreat, heal, and then figure out your next steps. But for the other group of us, we need to level up. Level up from those relationships that you have already gone to war for, acquire those trophies and come home and you're neglecting and you're filling with dust. Level up and light the same amount of fire that took you to war in the first place. Appreciate those people. Take care of your health. Take care of your body. Nurture your inner voice and feelings. And appreciate your family and your children before you start fighting for other things. So step out, level up, and step in. That's what the next group of people need to do. Go to war. Go to war because you've been sitting on the fence of stagnation. Go to war because you're wasting the beautiful value that came with your life. Go to war because you're neglecting this image. Just because you're older doesn't mean that you don't have to look good and feel good. Just because you've had children doesn't mean that you should let yourself go, because those children are also looking at you and wanting to see role models, overcomers, fighters reasonably. So figure out where you're sitting, whether you're in, out, or flat, and start your battle plans to get in or get out or level up. Because a wounded soldier is an angry soldier. But a wounded soldier can also be like the biggest fighting soldier that they've ever seen. When you've seen the chaos of war, it can do a few things to you. It can scare you into inaction. It can drive you on madly, or it can teach you caution. Caution and the value of retreat. So where are you sitting in life? What is the value of your wars? What is the cost over health and peace and family? Make sure that you're fighting the right battles. Make sure that you're fighting at the right time. Make sure that you're fighting the right people. And really see the love that people are giving you and appreciate it. Appreciate yourself. Appreciate peace. But then go to war wholeheartedly if you know that you need to fight for those positions, for those health, for those relationships, or in most cases, fight for your own survival. Thank you for listening. Make use of this message, and above all, share it with someone who is sitting flat and waiting for you to ignite a fight spirit in them. And I will see you again next Saturday for our next topic. Take care and don't fight a losing battle.